So, man, you ever see like a grandma stop her own purse snatching?
That would be awesome.
I think so.
I was a little distracted by this asteroid.
What, is it coming close to Earth?
Yeah, I think it's going to hit.
You were assuming that?
Yeah, I guess in my mind, I do make the worst assumptions sometimes.
Yeah, I'd jump to that. Like, no middle ground, just straight to the worst thing possible.
By the way, I didn't tell you, but you're looking like extra manly and tough today, man.
No, thanks. You're looking extra tough and manly.
Ah, come on.
Yeah. Hey, you ever feel like you have to get perfect and clean before you go talk to God?
Yeah, that happens.
It does.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another week at The Man Panel. And here are your hosts.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 9th episode of The Man Panel. I am Captain Astro here with my friend Jack Lumber.
What's up?
What's going on? And so we're kind of back to the normal schedule today. We are going to get into the first things here, manly news. Manly news.
We're kind of deviating and just doing goofy stuff for a while, and we think coming up we might do topical episodes
during
in the middle of the week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so if you guys have suggestions for topics you want to hear us talk about, or rant about, or make fun of, you should probably email us at themanpanelshow@gmail.com or leave comment on one of these videos.
Yeah, hit us up on Facebook or something
something like that. And then we'll do a normally scheduled episode with news and stories and whatnot on the weekends.
Darn right.
Anyway.
So that's the show going forward, at least for now. Still kind of evolving as we go. But yeah, so starting off with some manly news. We have, actually turns out, a gridiron gang tough grandma.
Yep.
Who, she was actually holding onto this car as a guy tried to purse snatch. So
no, he did purse snatch.
He took it. He didn't get very far with it.
He chased the guy.
It was crazy. Yeah, her name's Tammy Elliott. She's a grandma in Oregon, and she was essentially on the hood of this car hanging on as this guy snatched her purse. So she was really just in it to keep the pictures that were in there, and the guy actually kept the wallet, but so she's hanging on to this, the hood of this car, right, with the windshield wipers going. He's swerving.
He's trying typical cartoony fashion. He's trying to flip the windshield to knock her off the car and swerving back and forth. And she's just like, just give me the pictures of my grandkids back. I don't even care about the money. I don't have any anyway.
You're like, whoa, all right.
All right,
fair enough. Whoa. So he took out the wallet and threw the purse into a parking lot, and she kind of got off. And I want to see that. How did she get off?
I don't know. When probably a backflip, dismount, something.
Yeah, just like an actual awesome acrobatic display. I was actually, when I first read the headline here, it said, "Tough Grandma hangs onto car to stop purse snatcher." I thought she was quite literally holding onto the car, adrenaline, lifted the tires off the ground. I was like,
it's like a back wheel drive car, and she's just holding it, and he's spinning. He's like, "Well, I'm not going anywhere." She's like, "Give me the pictures back, and you can go."
Right? Don't mess with Granny. Crazy. But
honestly, once I get to be in that age, and my kids are grown, and they have kids of their own, I don't want to be living much longer anyway.
Heck,
I'm going to do crazy stuff too, probably.
Maybe
not at 53.
Maybe not at 53, but
at some point.
Flying airplanes upside down, that kind of stuff. Through a barn. Yeah. For those of you who don't know, that is a secondhand Lions reference.
Near as we can tell, they died flying that plane through that barn upside down.
You're like, what?
Okay.
I love them. I want to know their story. So speaking of stories, we're moving on to this one here. Close call. An asteroid the size of 6 football fields to pass Earth here Monday, tomorrow.
Pretty awesome. Yeah. Supposedly this is the closest an asteroid has come in the last probably decade or so.
Yeah.
And it's
going to be the closest one to pass actually
for a long
while,
time.
2027 or so.
Supposedly, unless I don't think they could actually know that.
My point exactly.
I've been watching space movies recently, and a couple of them were Armageddon and Deep Impact and various asteroid apocalypse themed movies, and the one that was the size of the state of Texas, it would have killed everything, even bacteria on Earth, and it bulldozed through the asteroid belt, and they didn't even know.
Right.
Like, until like 3 days until it was going to hit.
Kind of like Juggernaut's coming for you, and, they couldn't tell. How do you know this is going to be told until 2027?
Yeah, with space, it's very unpredictable stuff flying around out there.
That sounds like really just a stupid comment. Like, the guy that told that to the news reporter, I just would have, bopped him upside the back of the head. Be like, you're an idiot.
He probably had to say something like that.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, for the next 10 years or so, we're not going to have a problem with asteroids.
Okay.
Okay. Because you know the future.
Yeah,
if you think,
reader. If you think dinosaurs were destroyed by an asteroid, it'll probably happen again, given that there's how many billions of galaxies out there.
There's a lot of rocks.
There's enough space rocks floating around. They could easily destroy our entire galaxy, most likely.
Don't even get me started on our version of space. I mean, we put garbage out in space, for Christ's sake.
I saw a picture of the Earth as it stands with every satellite that we've put up there orbiting. It looks like a giant turd pile with lots of flies around.
That's really bad.
Like, oh man, the blue marble. It's a beautiful little planet. No, it's junky. Man just kind of makes things ugly.
Maybe that's why they have to wait so long for space rockets to take off, because they have to find there's a hole they've made, and they have to find the clear channel that they've made to get out. Oh yeah, space junks. But yeah, it's going to pass what this says here, 745,000 miles. Excuse me.
Which is a little over 3 times as far away as the moon is.
Yeah, so that's cool.
So it's not too close, but there's a possibility that we might be able to see it.
Yeah,
so we don't know about that yet.
Get your telescopes out. Go out and see it. Get some binoculars. I don't know if that works or not, but whatever. So we have. I'm looking through the sky in binoculars to see an asteroid.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Never tried.
So here's another one. The third and final news story we have for the day is drones are going to change our food supply, which is kind of sweet. I know Amazon was talking about using drones to deliver supplies.
It's freaking awesome. I would love that.
Still really cool, by the way. But yeah, so they're going to try to use new technology, so they say, to make farms more efficient. Basically, if you think about it, it's pretty simple. You have now an eye in the sky that can look down and locate problem spots in fields. So, maybe you can find lost cattle or something on a ranch. Maybe it can spot places where you need to spray insecticides, or where some form, I don't know what kind of diseases hit crops, but they do. Mm-hmm. So you can find problem areas like that. Maybe places you need to irrigate better, broken fence, whatever you're looking for. Pretty cool.
Yeah, the downside is these drones have kind of been used experimentally already, and they're starting to show some of the inadequacies in pig farming and some of the inhumane conditions that pigs live in. And
they're pigs. We eat them.
Yeah,
how inhumane can you get? You kill them at the end of their life to eat them. Get over it.
What's more humane? If I had a pig farm, I'd probably I'd give the pig a nice little pig dinner.
Right.
And then shoot it in the back of its neck.
How? Done.
That way it's not, that's why I'm not, because I have seen some of the ways these things are butchered, and I think it's disgusting and horrifying, and I would never do that to something. So I'm and I don't care what it does to the meat. I'll eat the pig anyway. If it's tougher, whatever. I'm a man. I'll deal with it. But I do appreciate people who limit suffering of living beings. I think it shows empathy. But I will say I don't care that the pigs are dying.
That's fair.
And if it doesn't stop, I'm not going to go protest that farm.
No.
So.
Yeah. So, yeah. That's kind of our 3 stories for the day. We're going to move on to some stories. Christian's got some good ones this week.
Yeah, so my wife, she's awesome, and I love her, but she's really weird. And sometimes this weirdness, perpetrates my dreams. Mm-hmm. So the other day I had this dream that is, again, a dream. This was not real. This didn't happen. So my wife Bree she's standing over me with scissors in her hands, and I'm like, "Hey, honey, what are you doing with those scissors?" And she's like, "Yeah, I just saw on YouTube how to surgically cut some of your vocal cords to make you sound more like Channing Tatum." I was like, "No,
whoa,
no." And she's like, "What? What's wrong? Don't you trust me? I learned it on YouTube." I'm like, "This is crazy. I'm not doing that." It's like, you gotta love me for me, I'm not gonna be Channing Tatum.
God, I hope so.
Anyway, some just weird stuff that happens in my dreams. Speaking of weird stuff, you guys, I'm not sure if anyone else out there does this, but I do this all the time. I jump to the worst possible conclusion first in any given situation, which in one's hand makes me very prepared for things. So when I drive, I assume everyone else on the road is going to do the stupidest things imaginable.
This is not the first time I've heard this.
Yeah, and I'm always ready for whenever they do something stupid. I don't get in wrecks very much.
Right.
It's usually somebody else's fault.
It's safe to assume.
So
come on,
because I'm like, if this truck is not going to look and merge and run me off the road, I'm just going to hang back a little bit until I know he sees me and then go. Mm-hmm. You know, and various things like that. So I jumped to the worst possible conclusion. So that's one hand. On the other hand, my mind takes me places that are really scary. So one time my wife this was the first time I picked her up at work and she was 45 minutes late. I was not expecting that because normally she's right on time, all the time.
Yeah.
So 45 minutes late, I'm like calling her every couple minutes, and I'm like, crap, she's been taken. Some terrorists came in and kidnapped her from work. I got to go find them. I got to learn how to fight. I got to learn. I got to find Liam Neeson. We got to go get these guys.
Go get Bruce Willis and these guys.
I'm gonna get a team. I'm gonna get Bruce Willis and Liam Neeson and
Chuck
Norris and
come on.
Rocky Balboa. What's his name? Sylvester Stallone and Jason Statham. All these action heroes, and we're gonna actually learn how to be boss men and go kill these guys.
Fight these guys.
And then, sure enough, we found out she's like, "Oh well, we just had late work to do because people on that shift before them kind of suck and didn't do anything." So,
been there before.
And I've also the other day I had one. My leg was kind of tingly and numb when I was sitting down, not really doing anything, wasn't constricting blood flow or anything. I was like, "What is wrong with me?" Mm-hmm. So it's fine. Nothing's happening anymore. But that day, I was like, "Crap! I've had diabetes for 10 years. So I'm gonna have to lose my leg tomorrow, and I'm gonna have to have a robotic one forever."
Panic attack. Oh my God, my leg.
And that wouldn't be so bad because I asked my wife one time, I said, "Hey honey, if I was paid an exuberant amount of money to cut off one of my legs and try a sweet new tech prosthetic, would you care?" She was like, "What has your real leg ever done for me?" I wouldn't care.
I wouldn't care. Actually, I was going to go there too. I was thinking the exact same thing.
Yeah, so if I lose my leg, whatever.
Whatever. I get a new robot one. It'd be awesome. Actually, speaking of jumping to conclusions, I actually went to Atlanta this past Wednesday, and I was there to see some clients, and I was there for work. And so I was in the airport, and there was this guy sitting down, and he kept smiling at me. Like, I saw him earlier at the Pittsburgh airport. We were just, whatever, going through the CVS thing or whatever was in there. And I passed him, and I was like, "Excuse me, sir," smile, say hi. And found my plane, which he was consequently on the same plane. And I was sitting across from him, so I could look at him, he could look at me, and I saw that he was occasionally looking at me, like, and smiling and waving, and it was repetitive, And he looked, he was wearing glasses, like redder hair, older guy. And after about 20 minutes, I thought to myself, "Is that me from the future?" I really did. I had a moment where I sat back and questioned whether or not this was me from the future, just, ready to come back and tell me something extremely important.
What would that be like?
I have no idea. That'd be amazing. I can't imagine to know everything that happens to you. I'm like, I'm going to look like that guy. These are things that went through my head, as I'm sitting there, going on a business trip, just kind of like, what is going on? Why do I look like that? And he was like a cool guy, he made a phone call and he's like talking in French and stuff. I'm like, sweet, I know French later, It was just a really weird environment. But the trip was awesome, and I ended up meeting this really eccentric salesman. He and we went to dinner, and this poor girl that was serving us, he was just giving her a hard time. Everything from his steak being undercooked to, giving her a hard time for being out of wine. It was a steakhouse, so I get that, but still, not having serving silverware with some of his sides. He's like, "What are we going to serve these with?" Meanwhile, "Did you take my bread plate?" He's just going off on this poor girl. And in the end, he goes, "I bet you we can get this dinner for free. You just got to take a bite of that corn stuff and pretend you're allergic, start convulsing." And I was like, "No. Bro, I'm not doing that, but I really appreciate your gumption, your dedication to that, but no." Anyway, it was a sweet trip, but two little moments there.
That's crazy.
Hey, so, Jack, you said something kind of cool, manly tip, actually.
Yes, I have this manly tip. I think as a man, you should cultivate a very manly, masculine kind of look and persona.
Amen to that.
And here's the reasoning. Like, I'm tall, I've been an athlete most of my life and fairly strong. I'm getting a little chubby now because I need,
baby weight.
sympathy weight for my wife. We're both going to start working out again soon.
That's good.
But in any case, no one has ever tried to mess with me because even my friends who know me a long time will see me every once in a while. They're like, dude, are you okay? Like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm doing great. They're like, really, you look really angry. Mm-hmm. Like, I wouldn't want to mess with you right now. I'm like, well, it's good.
Glad to hear that.
So, I have this big beard and tattoos and earrings and stuff like that. I want to be the kind of guy that looks like I could remove your spine with my bare hands.
All right.
So no one would dare to try to mess with me. Like the guy who stole the purse from grandma, that would never happen to me. No one would try to steal my purse.
Exactly.
Also, don't wear a purse if you're a man. That's ridiculous.
There's a whole thing
about European shoulder bag, too. Those things are ridiculous also. If you, Captain Asteroid had a good point. If you're going to have a bag, it needs to be a satchel. Because there's a difference. What's the difference?
The difference is the utility. So we've talked about this in length before, and if you have a satchel, it's because you're using it for treasure finding.
Yeah.
You're using it to carry secret documents around. Or it's got to be kind of like ratty a little bit. Maybe probably made of leather. Yeah. May have weapons in it, But yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah. So a bag would have the court-ordered urine testing or whatever the heck that people do in modern society, and the satchel would have a 45 revolver and a golden scepter from something
some Incan temple
that you found in the middle of a pyramid in the South American rainforest,
Big difference.
Stuff like that. So manly look and persona to intimidate your enemies.
Yeah.
And also to bring safety to your family and yourself. People will automatically look at the most bearded, most masculine looking dude in the time of crisis because they're like, that guy knows what's going on.
He knows what's happening.
Even if he doesn't, even if he has no clue, they're going to look to him and then assume that he knows what's going on. It's science. It's been proven over and over again. Bearded men are looked to in time of crisis because they assume it means wisdom and ability to provide and take care of things.
Darn right.
And build stuff with your bare hands and tear stuff down with your bare hands, So that's that. Cultivate a look and persona that makes you appear manly. And then, more depth, actually learn how to do those things, actually learn how to defend yourself with your hands or a weapon or whatever else, so that if someone does decide they want to mess with you,
to test that theory,
you can learn, you can fix that,
right?
Listen, sir, you don't want to mess with me.
You don't want to do this.
My hands and feet are
deadly weapons.
Illegal in this country.
Your assumptions about me were correct. I can and will hurt you.
Yes, I can, will hurt you. It will not end well for you.
Will not end well.
I will leave you alive so you can feel the extent of the pain I'm about to give you. And then you'll go to jail.
I have a similar manly persona. There, people call them power moves. I like wearing a suit with a pocket square and a tie or bow tie.
Nice
it's like I got my hair's all done, whatever. Anyway, and I look good and I know it, and that comes across as sometimes arrogant, I guess. But it's more just, I know that I look good today because I made sure of it. God made a beautiful creature, right? And I can actually do my job really well. So if you ask me questions about something, and even if I don't know it, I will be able to find it out for you quickly. I know I can perform. So it's one of those things with the manly persona and with the skills to back it up. Confidence, my friends.
Right, absolutely. Women love that, apparently.
Darn right they do.
In any case, if you're in time of crisis, maybe learn some survival skills. So if an asteroid does hit Earth and there's no more electricity, you'll be like, hey guys, don't worry, listen, I can build us a sweet fort.
Darn right.
And I can defend it from animals and other people that try to take our food.
Heck yeah.
Because, maybe there's a little bit of dust in the air, but we can figure this out. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Moving on to our encouragement section.
Yeah, we were hearing in church today. One of our pastors was talking about...
Pastor Rob.
Pastor Rob was talking about a car that he had. And he wanted to get a new car. He felt like he deserved a new car. Mm-hmm. And he felt really strongly that God was telling him to take this really crappy car as a gift. And when I say crappy, I mean pretty old.
It was old.
It was mechanically sound, I guess. He told us a funny story about how at the end of the car's life he was getting flipped off every day because the high beams were stuck on and stuff like that. And then eventually God released him from his obligation to this car.
Right.
But the point was, he could have gotten the new car, and he probably wasn't going to go to hell for that.
Right.
That's kind of ridiculous.
Right. It's a little extreme.
Yeah, he was saying, I wasn't hellbound. even if I deviated from what God was clearly telling me. Mm-hmm. So the encouragement is try your best to find out what God's telling you, and if you guys don't know how to do that, it's pretty simple. There's three things: the Bible, the Holy Spirit will reveal things that the Bible is saying, and that's God kind of giving us the plan and a guide.
Right.
Then there's people around you that will confirm things. Usually my life, if two or three people tell me the same thing, I'm guessing it's probably from God.
Right.
And then the third thing is like on your own. Mm-hmm. Just praying, you'll eventually learn how to quiet your own mind and hear God speaking to you. Very cool experience if you've never had that happen.
It is.
In any case, try your best to figure out what He's saying, but just remember that you don't need to be perfect to get something from Him or get into His presence. He's waiting for you to come back as you are, because He's not in the business of, He's not up there with like a ruler waiting to see what we did wrong to smack us. That's our image of God, mostly from like various religious institutions.
The ways we were brought up.
Yeah, and telling us how we need to follow all the rules and stuff like that.
Yeah.
God's more like, hey, I love you. You're not perfect. You're never gonna be perfect. Let's hang out anyway, and I'll help you, walk through this life. So
it's all good.
That's what I think there.
That's good stuff. Yeah, I mean, honestly, only to second that, you're not going to be perfect ever. Jesus was perfect. We can't get up to that, so that's a pretty high bar. Mm-hmm. But yeah, just do your best. Really seek after Him, and he'll be pleased with that. Because He just wants to love on you.
Yep. All right, guys. Coming up, I think next week I'm going to try to see American Sniper, so we can do a manly movie review next week, and look for a topical episode sometime in the middle of the week. We're probably going to talk about dinosaurs because they're awesome.
Hey, what's the best kind of dinosaur?
Triceratops.
Naturally. Absolutely. Yeah, I love Triceratops. That was in Office. What did he say? He says, oh yeah, you know what's better than a Triceratops?
What?
Yeah, every other dinosaur that ever existed.
Well, that's a little much.
Dwight Schrute, ladies and gentlemen.
All right.
Well,
Man Panel is out for today. Thanks, guys, for listening. Hit us up if you have any suggestions or comments.
Yeah, we'll talk to you guys later.
Yep.
Bye.